Okay guys, so welcome back again. So in this video, we'll be having a look at Strapi, and it is a headless CMS. That is, it does not come with any front end. The only front end provided by this CMS is the admin UI, and it is super helpful to use. So for those of you who don't know that what a CMS is, so if you have ever used WordPress, so basically that is also a content management system, but it is not a headless CMS because it provides you with the default UI provided by WordPress, and where you can add themes and so on and so forth. But in this Strapi CMS, we do not have a front end for the application. It provides us with an API, and the API can be either RESTful API or we can use a GraphQL API. So as we see here in the features of this Strapi thing, it provides us with a RESTful interface or with a GraphQL API. It is completely open source, or I should say that the community version of this Strapi is open source, but there is also a paid version for this Strapi thing on that is paid obviously. But with this open source platform, that is the community version of Strapi, we can modify Strapi in our own way to be used inside our applications as a backend. And then this is customizable, and we need to self-host the Strapi thing. So if you know what Contentful is, so Contentful is again a CMS, but that is hosted by Contentful, and they provide you with a free tier, but they also have a paid tier. But in Strapi, the best thing I like is this, that it is completely open source. That is, I can modify, or I can modify the source code as in what I like. So if you're new to CMS, then I guess that this is the best thing you can have. So to get started with the Strapi thing, we simply need to have two things installed on our system. That is the npm thing and the node thing. That is the Node.js thing. And for Strapi to work, you need to require at least the minimum node version of 14.19.1. And if you're on a lower node version that is less than 14.19.1, then you might be getting an error. So the thing to get started with Strapi is this command, that is to create a Strapi app, we need to use this npx create Strapi app at latest my project. So let's copy it to our clipboard and let's go to our terminal here. So here I am on the desktop folder, and I'm simply going to paste this command here, that is npx create Strapi at latest my project. And before doing so, let me show you one thing here, that is if I do node -- version here, I'm on 14.18.1. So in this case, the Strapi installation would fail. And I intentionally wanted to show you this thing here because most of you would complain that Strapi is not getting installed on your system. So this is the reason that Strapi would not be installed. It requires a minimum of 14.19.1. So what I'm going to do is this, that since I'm using NVM, I can simply use the Node.js version of 16 here. And if I do node -- version here, I'm on 16.13.0. So let me clear up the screen. So now let me paste in the command to install a Strapi thing here. So let me press enter here. And it asks me to install the following packages. So let's click on yes. So now we have two options to choose the installation type, that is a quick start and the custom. So I would recommend that if you are new to Strapi, use the quick start thing here, because in this quick start, we would be the default database that would be used would be the SQLite thing. And if you are going to use the custom thing or the manual settings, then you need to provide in the database. And the best thing about Strapi is this, that you can choose any of the database that are available in the market, but that needs to be supported by Strapi. So as far as I know, SQLite is supported, Postgres is supported, MySQL database is supported. The MongoDB database was supported in the previous version of Strapi, that is the V3 version, but here we are going to use V4. So MongoDB is not supported in V4. So I'm going with the quick start thing here. So that the default database would be the SQLite thing or the SQLite database. And this time it would take a couple of minutes to install this Strapi thing. So now as we see that we are automatically taken to this page, that is localhost port 1337 admin auth register admin. So before doing anything, let me go back to the terminal here. So we see a couple of things here, that is when it was installed, we see that we have the application created in this directory, and the available command for a project is yarn develop for the development mode, and the yarn start and yarn build. So you do not need to worry about this. And this is all coming from the Strapi package. But what I'm going to do, I'm simply going to stop the application as of now because it was auto started by the Strapi package. And I wanted to go inside this folder that is cd my project, because that was the name of the project that we created using Strapi. And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to open this project inside VS Code by doing code dot. So now if we have a look at the application, we see that this is the project that Strapi created for us. And for this video, I won't be touching any files inside this project folder here, because that would be a part of next video where I would be creating custom controllers. And for those of you who don't know that on what platform Strapi is based upon, it is based upon Koa. That is a framework for backend applications. Like we have Express inside Node.js, we also have Koa in Node.js. And Koa is a super useful and super powerful framework as compared to Express, as what the doc says. But I'm not comparing any of the frameworks here, Koa or Express. But you only need to know that this is based upon Koa here. And now to start the application, what you need to do, we need to simply do yarn develop like this. And we see that we are getting this command failed here, and that is because inside my VS Code I'm running Node version 14.18. So let me simply do nvm use 16 to use the 16th Node.js version. And now I am going to do yarn develop like this. It should be develop like this, and we see that it is building the admin UI here. We see that we get this thing here that is building your admin UI, because that is the first thing Strapi does to build the admin UI, and that is only for administrative purposes. So if we see here, whenever we open the Strapi first time or the admin page first time, we are taken to this page that is welcome to Strapi. And this is a place where you would be registering your administrators. So here what I'm going to do, I'm simply going to fill in my details here and let the email be, let it be here. And please do not email me on this email address because I won't be replying to this thing here. And for the password, let me choose one password here like this. And I'm not going to check this checkbox here. And now I'm simply going to click on let's start. So here what I'm going to do, let me increase the font size a little bit. So here I'm not going to continue with the tour. So I'm going to click on skip the tour. And here it says that we need to first create a content type. So here, before doing anything, we need to understand the side navigation bar here. So basically a content manager is a manager of your contents here. And here we already see a collection type here that is user, and I would be coming to this later on in the video. But here we have a couple of other things that is like the content type builder. So let's say that, so this is a content type, that is this user is a content type, and it is automatically generated by Strapi because of one plugin that we are using, and that is the user management plugin. So Strapi's functionality can be increased in a number of ways, and one way is using plugins. Because in Strapi we have a library of plugins where we can see that what all plugins are installed inside our backend server or our backend service here. So currently we see that the list of plugins that are installed are the content manager, the content type builder, email thing, media library, roles and permissions, and internationalization. That is I18N. And if we have a look at the marketplace, then we would be seeing that what all plugins are available to be included or to be installed on Strapi. And I'm not going to go through this all thing here. But one thing which I'm going to do later on is this, that I would be installing this documentation here because it would be easier for us to do, or easier for us to manage the API when we are building that. But for now, I'm simply going to, I'm simply showing you this marketplace. That is, the Strapi's functionality can be increased by installing a number of plugins here. And here we have the settings here, and we will be coming to all this later on or later in the video. But now let's go back to this media library thing here. So basically, whenever we upload any assets or any images, we can directly do that from this place here. That is, if we want to build an API, let's say for a blog post, and we want to include an image inside a blog post, then we can do that from here. That is, first we upload the image to this media library, and then we can use it. And now the basic or the meat of Strapi is this content type builder. That is, currently we see we have the collection type, we have a single type, and then we have components. So for now, let's focus on this collection type here. So currently we see that we have a user collection type, and this is generated because we are using a plugin called user roles and permission that is included in Strapi by default. So it created this content type called user here. And this user has these properties, that is username, email, provider, password, and so on and so forth. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to create in my own collection type, and that is a products collection. And inside a products collection, or apart from the products collection, I would be creating one more collection called categories, because a category can contain many products, and a product can belong to only one category. So this is the type of relationship which we are going to design in this design from this content type builder. And once you see that how it is all done, you would be delighted to see that how easy it is to build an API from the Strapi thing here, or to use a Strapi for simple APIs, or even for complex APIs. We can do it manually by going inside the Strapi code. But in this video, I would be simply focusing on this Strapi dashboard. So let's create a new collection type here. So the display name of the collection type would be product. So let's call it product, or let me call it product like this. So we see that for the singular ID, we have the product, and for the plural, we have products. And if we go to the advanced settings, we see that we can enable or disable the publish and draft system. And if we wanted to enable localization, we could have done so, but I'm not going to do so. So let's click on continue. And now it asks us that what all fields inside a product we want here. So firstly, we want to have a name of the product. So that would be of type of text here. So let me select text, and here the name would be name here. That is the name of the product. So this the name can be a short text or a long text. So since the product name is a short text, so I would be keeping it short text. And if I go to the advanced settings here, we see that we can also provide in a default value for this field here. That is for the name. If we wanted to provide in a default value, we can do so. And then whether this field is required whenever you are creating a new product. So I would say yes, we always want a name of the product to be there. And now we can also make this field as unique field. That is, no two products inside the database should exist with the same name, but two products might have a same name. So I'm not going to choose unique field here. And then we have a minimum length. That is, let's say that we want to have a product with a minimum name length of, let's say, 3 characters or 4 characters. So you can pretty well manage it yourself, that is minimum length and maximum length. And now let's come to this private field. So this private field simply means that this field called name would be not passed inside the API response. That is, this name would not show up inside the API response. So I do not want to do that. I do not want to keep name as a private field, because name is required inside an API for a product thing. So I would simply say either I can click on finish, or I can add another field to this products collection. So let me click on add another field. And now we need to have a price for this product thing. So let me choose number here. And for the name of the field would be price. And the number format would be, let's say, decimal here, because the price can be in decimal value, not the float and not the big int or the integer. So I'm simply choosing it as decimal here. And now let's go to the advanced settings. So again, we have similar fields here, that is whether this field is required. So yes, price is always required, whether this field is unique or not. So we cannot keep this as unique. And now what I can do, I can simply click on finish here. Or if you wanted to do, you can add as many fields as you want to do here. And just ignore this component and dynamic zone. It is for advanced usages. And we see that we have a couple of fields here that we can make the field as an email. That is, if that field is not, or if the input is not provided as an email, then it would not be validated. And then it can be a password field with encryption. Then we have enumerations. We have the media here. We have a date picker here and Boolean here, a relation here, which we are going to see that in a moment when we are linking this product to a category collection. So for now, let's keep it simple here. Let's put a cross here. So now we see that we have these two fields here inside our products collection type here called name and price. So now what I'll do, I'll simply click on save, and it restarts the server here. So if we go to our this thing here, that is this thing here, we see that as soon as we press saved, we see that the server is restarting, and the server restarted. And if we go back here, and we see now we have a collection, two collection types here. One is the user and the product collection type. So if we go to the content manager here, we see that we have two collection types here called product and user. So we are not interested in user as of now. We are interested in this product collection here. So now we want to create an entry inside this product collection. So let's go ahead and let's click on create new entry here. So let the name be, I do not want it to save this, but so let the name be iPhone, let's say 13. The price would be $699. And now what I can do, I can simply click on save here. And let's call it, click on publish here. We see that this entry has been published. And now let me create one more entry here. So let me call it iPad, whatever it is. And I do not know the price. So let's keep it $599. And let's click on save and let's click on publish and let's go back. We see that we have two published things here. And let's create one more entry here. And that would be, let's say, a MacBook Pro 13 inches or let's say 16 inches, price $2,999. Let's click on save. And this time I'm not going to publish it because I wanted to show you the API response. That is when this is in draft state, this would not be included in the API response. So now, how do we query this API of this products collection? So for that, what we can do, we can directly go to our terminal here or to this folder here. And here what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a file called touch.rest.http like so. And let me start the application once again. And I'll let you know that why I created this file. So basically, whatever queries we are going to make or whatever API calls we are going to make to our Strapi server, we are going to use this rest.http thing here. Or you can use Postman also, but I prefer to use rest.http because everything would be inside the VS Code. And it is a package called REST client. So let me show it to you. So if you search on the extensions, we have this REST client package by Huachao Mao. And this is one of the finest extensions that I use in VS Code, and I highly recommend it because it allows us to make API calls from within VS Code so that we do not have to leave VS Code. So to make an API call to this endpoint called products, what I'll do, I'll simply make in the type of request and then HTTP, not S, but HTTP localhost. Let me API/products like this. So I would be also letting you know that how I know that we need to call this endpoint. So if I click on send request, we should be getting an error here. And we see that we have this error here called forbidden error. And that is because by default, all the content types are private in Strapi. And that is the default setting of Strapi. And that is again provided by the user permissions plugin in Strapi. So don't worry about the user permissions plugin because we would be seeing that later on in the video or maybe in the next video because again, otherwise this video would be too long. So if I go back to our Strapi dashboard, we see that we are seeing here 3 products. So what I need to do, I need to go inside the settings here and then inside this permissions plugin, that is inside this users and permissions plugin, we have roles here. So basically, user permissions plugin provides us with two roles, that is the authenticated role or the public role. So as the name suggests, authenticated role simply means that only all the settings inside this authentication section or inside this authentication tab would be applicable for authenticated users. And whereas if we select this thing here, that is this public role, then we can tell Strapi that which routes can be public. So if we go to this thing here, that is, if we click on public here, we can scroll down here and we have these permissions here. So just ignore these bottom things here. Just focus on this product because as soon as we added a content type here called product, this thing is automatically populated here. And if we open this thing here, or if we click on this thing here to open the accordion, we see that to create a product, delete a product, find a product, or find a single product, or to update a product, none of these are checked. If we wanted to access these things, that is find and find one, because the user should be able, or the end user should be able to find all the products, or he can be able to find a single product. So what I'm going to do, I'm simply going to check these 2 checkboxes, that is find and find one. And not the create, delete, and update, because I do not want any anonymous user to create a product inside my database, or to delete any product from my database, or to update any product from my database. For that, I would be requiring the user to be at least authenticated, or maybe not that as well. That is, only the admin is allowed to create and update or delete a product. So if we select this thing find here, we see that we get this endpoint here called API products. And if we select on find one, we see that we get this endpoint API products ID. So we are going to use these two endpoints to find a product, all the products, or to find a single product. So now before doing anything, let me click on save. We see that the role is edited. And now if we go back to VS Code, and if we again make a request here, we see that this time we get back a response here with a data, and then that data contains an array of objects here, or an array of products here. We see that we with ID1 we have this product iPhone 13, with ID2 we have this iPad mini, whereas the third product, that is the MacBook Pro, is not present inside the response, and that is because that product is in a draft state. So what I can do, I can go to my content manager. Let me select this MacBook Pro, and here what I can do, I can publish it. So now the product is published, and now if I'll make a call again, we see that this time we get back all the three products, that is iPhone 13, iPad mini, and MacBook Pro. And one of the benefits, or one of the beauty about this Strapi thing is this, that it provides you the response inside the data object here. Whereas we also have the meta object here, which tells us about the pagination, the page size, the page count, and the total. If you wanted to have a pagination inside your front end React application, or Angular, or Vue application, then you can do so very easily. So now what I wanted to show you one more thing here is this, that how do we say a product by a single ID? So, or to get a product by ID. So it is pretty simple to do. Again, I need to make one more get request, that is 2/1 to simply get a product by ID, and that is again provided by this from this thing here, from rules, public, product, we have find one. So we have this endpoint API products and the ID of the product. So we know the ID of the product is 1. So let me click on 1 here. So let me make a request here. We see that we get back only the response for that particular product. Or if we make a response, or if we make a call to any product that does not exist, so let's see that what do we get. So we see that we get back a not found error here. That is, the data is null, but we have the error object here and no meta object here. So I guess that this is basically based upon the Open API specification, that is the data, error, and the status thing. So this is what we have here. So now let me take it one step further. That is, I want to create a relationship between the products and the categories. So let's do that. So let's go to the content type builder, and we see that inside the product, we have two fields here, that is name and the price. So what I'll do to create a collection called category, what I'll do, I'll simply click here, that is create new collection type. And here, let me call it category. So category. And just remember this, that what I'm all doing inside this admin database or this admin front-end application, you can all do that from the command line itself, but that is too tricky to use. In case if you are not comfortable with Strapi, I would not recommend using the CLI of the Strapi thing. So now it gives us with this API singular, that is category, and the plural categories, and the advanced settings. So again, do we want to have a draft and publish system here? So let's simply choose false here, because we already know how draft publish system works, but let's simply keep it as false here. And again, I'm not choosing localization because that is not like a part of this video. So let me click on continue. And now I can add as many fields to this collection type called category, but here I simply want to have a single field here, and that is called name of the category. And again, it would be a short text, and let's go to the advanced settings. So this would be a required field, and this would not be a private field. So let's click on finish here like this. Or what I can do, let me add another field, and this time what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a relation to our product collection. So let's click here, relation. And now here we need to specify that how this category is related to a product. So inside a category collection, we have a field called product, but a category can contain many products. So what I wanted to do is this, that I wanted to have a one-to-many relationship. That is, one category can have many products. and one product can belong to a single category. So this is what I'm going to use here. That is, from category, it is one to many. That is, one category can have many products, and from the category side, many products can belong to a single category. Or otherwise, we could have also used any other type of relationship here, like this. That is, category has and belongs to many products. That is, we can also have a product belong to multiple categories, and multiple categories can have multiple products. But that would be like typical to use, or like not easy to understand. So here I'm going to choose this thing here. That is, a category can contain many products, and a product can belong to single category. And you can always edit the field name which they provide, but I guess that this is fine with me. That is, category can contain products and product can belong to a category. So you can change the field names here. And if I go to the advanced settings here, we can again make this field as a private field, but I'm not going to do so. So let's click on finish here. So we see that our category has two fields, that is the name and the products. So let me click on save here, and it again restarts the Strapi server. So let's wait for a second. So now it's working. So let's see the products collection here. So if I go to the product collection here, we see that this field called category is automatically added by Strapi, and it has a relationship with category collection that we just made. Because category has a relation with products, that is, a category can contain many products, and in a similar way, a product can contain a single category or belongs to one category, and many products can belong to same category. So this is what it is already done. So let's click on finish, and now let's click on save. And maybe I do not need to save it again because it was already there. And now if I go to the content manager here, we can have a view of our category system here. So let's create a new entry inside the category. And this time we see that we may need to provide in the name of the category, and let's call it electronics, because I would be using weird categories. So let's keep it as electronics here. And here what I can do, I can add in as many products as I want. So let's add this iPhone 13 here. Let me add iPad mini here. And for this MacBook, I would be adding it from the product collection here. So let's save this. And the save is successful. And we see that we do not get a draft and publish system here, because by default, we disabled that when we created this collection type. And if I go to the product thing here, we see that we have these fields here, and we can also show the category here. That is this, by this drop down here, I also chose the category, and I also can see the updated date and time here. So we see that iPhone 13 belongs to electronics, iPad mini belongs to electronics. And now let's go inside the MacBook Pro. And now what I can do, I can add it to a category called electronics here. And since it's a single type, we are only going to have one category here. So let's click on save here. So now if I go back to my category, we see that we have 3 product items here, 13, mini, and Pro 16. So let me create one more entry for this category. So here what I would do is this, that let me call in a category called fruits, because that is the thing which came to my mind. So let's click on save, and we see that we do not have, this category does not have these products. So we cannot add iPhone or iPad or MacBook to fruits. So let's click on save. And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a couple of more products quickly. So let the name be like grapes. Price would be like 10. And the category this belongs would be fruits. Like, I do not know which part of the world sells electronics and fruits in the same shop, but let it be so. So let's click on save, and let's publish this also. And now let's go back and let's create one more entry, and this time it would be called mangoes. The price would be like 29.99, and the category would be again fruits. So let's save this, publish this, and let's go back to our product collection. So we have these many items here. So let's go back to our API here, once again. So now if I query the products collection here, so let me make a query to this products collection to get all the products. So we see that, let me minimize this thing here. So we see that this time we get back all the products here. That is the MacBook Pro, grapes, and mangoes. But what if we want to also include the category to which these products belong to? So it is pretty simple to do. And before we do anything, let me also make a GET request to the collection type here called categories. So instead of products, let me go to categories. And if I wanted to make a call here, I would be getting a 403 error. And that is because the categories collection is not public by default. That is the find and find one. So let's go to the settings here. Let's go to roles. Let's go to public. And we have one more tab here, or one more accordion here, or whatever this is. So let me expand this accordion, and here I need to choose find and find one. And let me click on save. This is old stuff which you already know till now. So if I make a call to this categories, we see that we have two categories here. So now if I want to populate the categories inside this products response, that is currently we are only getting back the products, but we do not get the category to which they belong to. So to include the category, what we need to do, we need to simply add one more query here, and that is populate equal to category. Not categories, but category, because inside the products collection, we have a field called category to which they belong to. And let me show it to you. So if I go to this, let me click on save, and let me go to the content manager to the product thing here. If I open this, we have a category here, not categories, but it is called categories, category, whatever it is. So let's go back. So let's make a call here. So this time the response we see contains the category to which that product belongs to. So we have a data object here. We have the ID of the product. So let me expand this. So we have the name, the price, the created timestamps and the updated timestamps, the published at timestamp also. And then we have the category. Then we have the ID of the category, the attributes of the category, that is the name, and created at, updated at. But again, this response can be simplified by doing manual intervention inside the Strapi code, which we will be doing on in the next video. But for now, let's keep it simple here. So now we have a fully working API for the products thing here in a couple of minutes. That is, we have a product and we also have the category API. So in the same way, we made a request to this categories here. We see that we only get back this data. That is the number of categories here. And in the same way, like this, we can also populate the products inside each of the categories. So what I need to do, I need to simply append this thing here, that is populate equal to products. Not product, but products, because categories contains a field called products and not product. So let's simply click on send request. So we see that we have a response here. And inside this category called electronics, we have these many items, that is the iPhone, iPad, and MacBook. And inside this fruits collection or this fruits category, we have these two products here. So in a matter of minutes, we made something that would have taken days to create this kind of an API. So what I'll do, I'll go one step further here and let me open the route to create a product. So let me go to the settings here. So let's go to this roles thing here. Let's go to public here and let's go to this product thing here. And I want to create a product, or let me simply click this thing here, that is create. And to create a product, we need to make a post request to this route here, that is API/products. And let me also check this delete thing here. And for delete, we need to simply have this thing here, that is products ID here. And it is all RESTful API here. And again, to update the product, we have this endpoint here, that is the put endpoint API products, the ID. So let me save this and let me show you that how do we add a product or create a product using the API thing. So let's make a call to create a product. So we need to make a post request. And for that, what I need to do, I need to go to this route here. So this GitHub Copilot is giving me auto suggestions here. And here the content type would be application JSON like this. And let the name of the product be product 1. The price would be 100. And let me remove this category and this thing, because I want to do that later. So currently I want to simply add a product called product 1 with a price of 100. So let me make a post request. So it should be like a space between. So let me make a request here. So we see that we get back a error here, that is validation error. And that is because in Strapi, you do not need to send the JSON object like this. But instead, what we need to send here is this, like this. That is, I need to stop this Copilot, deactivate Copilot. Let me disable it globally as of now. So to make a request, what we need to do, we need to send a data attribute here, not date, but data. And inside this data, we need to put in the name and the price of the product like this. So let me write it. And so it should be, let me indent it. So to create a product, we need to send in a data object here that contains the attributes of that collection type. And here we are simply passing in the name and price. So that's why we were getting this error here called validation error, because we simply passed in this object here, but instead we needed to pass in a data object like this. So now if I make a request here, we see that we have one more error here, and it is because again I am like using this thing here, that is rest.http client. So this needs to be in quotes here. And now if I make a request, hopefully I would be able to create a product here. So we see that this time we get back our response with an ID of 6. We have the attributes here called product1, price, and so and so. What if we want to update this product, or what if we want to create a product called product2, but it should also belong to a category here? Because if we have a look at the category, or if we go to our admin panel and if we have a look here to the content manager, we see that we have this product called product1, but it does not belong to a category as of now, as we can see here. What if we want to create a product and dynamically we want to attach that product to a category, that is to any of the categories? So it is pretty simple to do. So let me go back. So this time what I'm going to do, I wanted to create a product called like guava, and I wanted to add this to a category. So it should be again in quotes. So category, and then we need to pass in the ID of the category in quotes, not like 6 or something else. So if we have a look for the category number of fruits, if we have a look at the categories here, so we see that fruits has an ID of 2. So therefore we needed to pass here 2. That is, we needed to pass here 2 like this. So if I again make a request here, we see that the product is created, but we do not get back the response, that is the category in which this was created. But if we go back to the admin panel and if we have a look at the products here, and if we simply show the category also, we see that guava has been added to the category called fruits. So this is how we can dynamically add category or relation between the product and category from using an API. And if we wanted to update the name of this product as well as add it to a category called fruits or electronics, which has an ID of 1, because we can see here that electronics has an ID of 1. So how do we do that? Let's do that. And remember, this product 1 has an ID of 6. So let's make a put call. So it should be, let me scroll down. So it should be a put request, put HTTP. So now I'm not getting any local host port this. So it should be a call to this product's endpoint. Content type would be like application JSON, and then we need to pass in the data object here. And again, since we want to update the product with an ID of 6, so we need to pass in the ID here, and that is the ID would be 6 here in our case, because we wanted to update this product here, that is with an ID of 6. So that's we are passing here 6 here. And then for the data, we need to change the name of the data, and again this should be in quotes. And then we need to pass in the name of the product, and the name of the product, let's call it like banana, like this. And then we also wanted to add in a category for this product. So category would be, let's say 2, because that is called fruits. And the price, I would not change it. So if I make a request here, hopefully everything should go well. So we see that we get back our response and we have the attributes here. So if we go back here, and currently we see that we have product 1 here with an ID of 6. But if we refresh this, so let's go here. So we see that the ID of 6 has a name of banana. And again, if we select the category here, we see that banana belongs to the category called fruits. So this is how we can update using an API call. In a similar way, we can also delete this banana. So let's do that as well. So deleting is very simple in any of the cases. So for that, we need to make a delete request. And again, we need to make a delete request to this thing here, because that is a simple RESTful endpoint, that is products followed by the ID of the product. So if we make a request here, we see that banana has been deleted. And if we go back, and currently we have banana here, but if we reload this, we see that banana is gone from here. That is ID of 6 has been removed from here. So this is how easy it is to work with Strapi to create a simple API or a complex API simply using like a couple of clicks. So in the next video, we will see that how do we use the user and permissions plugin, because that is one of the things which you are going to use. And if you're wondering that what this single type means, it is simply like in simple words, you may not be using it until and unless you wanted to build a static website for which all the content comes from this backend Strapi dashboard. So what we can do, we can go to the content type builder, and here instead of a collection type means that in a single collection called category or products or user, we can have multiple rows inside each of the things, or multiple documents inside each of the collection type. But a single type simply means that, let's say that if I wanted to create a homepage for my static website, so what I can do, I can create a new collection type, and here what I can do, I can simply call it homepage. And here for the advanced settings, I'm not going to use the draft and publish system as of now. And I can click on continue. And here what I can do, I can add in a text field here called, let's say, hero header, a name like this. And this can be a short text or a long text or something, whatever it is. So let's add another field so it does not match the regex. So let's call it the name of the page, let it be. And then I wanted to also add in some rich text for the hero content for a static page. So I can say that content like this. I can add another field, or let me simply do it this way. And you can add as many fields as you want inside an homepage for a particular website. But my homepage only consists of 2 fields, that is the name and content. So let me click on save here, and again it would restart the application. So now if we go to the content manager here, we see that in the single types we see homepage, and inside this homepage we can only have one item inside this homepage. So for the name of the homepage, I would say homepage, or let's say my site name. So let's say truly methyl or whatever it is. And then the content would be, let's say, some lorem ipsum. So lorem ipsum, something like this. And now I can simply save this. So it is saved here. And if we go to the settings again, we go to the roles here, we go to the public roles here, and this time we see that we have one more thing here that is called homepage, and we want to find this homepage from everything. So we can make a call to this API homepage like this. So let's go here to our terminal here, or to our REST client, and I can again make a request to this HTTP. Let me copy this thing from here, it would be easier. And this time API homepage, that was it. So let's make a request, and again we see that's a forbidding error, and that is because we need to save this thing here. So role edited, and if we go back, I can make a request here. We see that we get back the attributes here. And again, currently we have only 2 attributes here for the home page, but typically you might be having 50 or 60 attributes for a particular home page, so that you can do that very easily. But again, where this would come in handy is this, that you do not need to again and again go back to your HTML code or your React code or your any other code to edit your static website's homepage. But instead what you can do, you can directly come here to your content manager inside Strapi, and you can go to your homepage, and you can change whatever field name you want to change, that is whatever content you want to change, and then you can handle that on inside your front end server, that is the content is coming from this homepage. So you can dynamically manage that static website also, that is the content would change as and when you make edits to your this homepage thing here. So this is again one of the benefits of using Strapi as a content management system, because many of the websites today have dynamic content and they want to dynamically change the content of their website. So it would be very easier for them to manage their content using this Strapi dashboard. So in the next video, I would be looking at the user permissions plugin, that is this user permissions plugin. And we will be going into detail about how to log in a user, how to register a user, how to make API calls for only an authenticated user. So that's what we are going to do in the very next video. So thank you, bye bye, tata, take care, and have a good day and have a great day, and see you in the next one.